This is Mister, and what I have for you today is a fail and clean on the same base using almost the same troops. We'll have a look at why it failed and what differences were made to the attack to make it succeed. Let's begin with the failed attack first. Now, I'll give you a hint straight off the bat. It was a time fail, not a troop fail. As you can see, the clock went the full 3 minutes here. So I'd been thinking about attacking this base, coming up with a couple of different plans about how I was going to do it, but by the time I was able to log back on to actually do an attack, the base had already been attacked. So I just chose a different base, and you'll be seeing that base in a different video as well. Okay, so the Queen's coming in. When I initially first saw this attack, I thought, how's he going to trigger the CC? Is he going to drop a hog on the CC from over here to pull it to the Queen, or is he hoping the Queen will approach the wall, but there's too much trash this way? So I was a little bit puzzled in my initial viewing on how he was planning to actually pull the CC out. Now, he's got a loon split there. I don't think he really planned on the loon split from happening. Still don't have a CC pull, has to drop the king now. So the king will pull the CC, as we'll see just there. Okay, king's pulled the CC, and now we wait. How's he going to kill the CC? Just waiting for it to be poisoned. Had to drop a couple of wizards down. So I think he's been flying on the seat of the pants at the moment there, when things did not quite go according to whatever the plan was, and he's dropped that. So we've got 1:33 left. These troops are just starting to come out now. So we had 1.5 minutes at Queen Walk, and I think that's what really did him in, was the Queen Walk was 1.5 minutes. My own personal Queen Walks, I try not to make them go more than a minute. I feel that if they go for a minute, then they start to really eat into the time. If you can keep your Queen Walk to a minute, then that way it gives you 2 minutes to do the rest of the base with the rest of the attack. But if it goes over, say, like 1.5 minutes like this one, then you've only got 1.5 minutes to get the rest of the attack in, and you might need half a minute to set something else up within the rest of that attack. And that's what we see here. If he'd been able to keep the Queen Walk to 1.5 minutes, then it would have been a 3-star. He's got plenty of troops left, loads of wizards following around with the Grand Warden, loads of miners up here. He's still got some hogs left. I'm not sure, can't remember. I think the hogs eventually peter out up here with the double cannon and the archer shooting them. Possibly not. No, still got some hogs left. So hogs are still up at this moment, but the miners have to get through these things and then come back onto the town hall with only 20 seconds left. Springtrap took out a couple of hogs. That didn't really help too much. And just not enough left in the tank to get it done quick enough. So we end up with a little bit of a time fail. Plenty of miners left, good whizzies left. You got some barbs in the middle, Grand Wardens in the middle, but just not enough. All the rest of the base is done. Just a little time fail. Okay, let's have a look at how this was rectified. Alright, same base, and we're going to have a slightly different approach here. Now, my initial thinking was, I want my Queen Walk to get the Eagle Artillery. When I was first looking at the base, I want to get the Eagle Artillery, but I also want to get the CC. Now, depending on how I approach it, the CC is more important to me than the Eagle Artillery. This is my thinking. If I can get the Queen Walk into the CC and my secondary push can take out the Eagle Artillery fairly quickly, then I'm not that concerned with the Eagle. But in this case, I can draw the CC with a hog or something placed onto the wizard or the cannon, in which case I can use my Queen Walk to take out the Queen and take out the Eagle if I come in from this side. So I think this is the better option to come in from on this base and then pull the CC with something else. So let's see how it goes. From there, though, creating the rest of the funnel and getting the rest of the troops in. Once the Eagle's down, it almost doesn't matter if they circle around, because you've got enough troops to wipe out the base, as the first attack saw. So we're just having a look at this Queen Walk. Has been going for like maybe 10 seconds or something now. wall breaker in, and then the next wall breaker's different wall, so it's a bit of a wall breaker fail. So he doesn't get in with the wall breakers. Now the interesting thing, of course, here is that the queen will make her own way in anyway, which is what you're about to see. And I thought it was interesting that I guess this was just a little bit too far. Now he's just dropped a hog up here on the wizard, dragged out the dragon, which was in the CC. Now remember, he did know what was in the CC because it was a second hit on the base. So wizard's not going to be a match for the queen. She'll just one-shot that. Now we've just got the dragon. And the dragon's not going to be an issue either. Sometimes we face clans, and I'm sure you do as well, where all they do is load the base up with electro drags and something else. It's like every base has an electro drag and something else in it. Electro dragon loons, electro dragon wizard, electro dragon archers, but everything's got an electro drag, it seems, on some bases. So once that starts to happen, there's no guessing. So the kings come down here, and then the siege barracks has come as well. Now the king's creating a nice little bit of an outside funnel, but for instance, why did the king attack the wall and not just walk over to this thing over here, which seemed to me more accessible? But I think this is an AI change, that the king never used to do that, but he's only started doing that recently, so I'm pretty sure that's an AI change that Supercell has done. Now you'll also notice, instead of bringing the extra heal spell in this troop combo, what the attacker has done is he's brought a freeze spell. So while the hogs and miners are inside the heavy DPS core, he's just freezing those things instead of just providing an extra heal. So there's another heal gone down into that core. So I'm not sure what is actually better in that case. Was the heal better? Was the freeze better? I think I'll leave that up for you to decide. But one thing that was a major difference is that the queen was able to stay up with the healers. So she's been able to take out all the extra buildings. So even if all he achieved was the exact same attack as what we just saw, the fact that his queen was up instead enabled her to take out all of these extra buildings here, and that meant less cleanup for the troops to try and get the base done, and therefore no time fail. And of course, with the miners going into the middle of the base as well as some of the hogs for the weapons, and the miners, the center of the base failed. So the slight little change in combo was he's exchanged to 3 balloons, and I think the first attacker had 6 wall breakers and 3 wall breakers for extra miners into the combo, and instead of bringing 4 heals, he's brought the 3 heals and 2 freeze spells. That made the difference, along with the queen just coming in from that different side to take out the queen and the eagle and draw the CC and get all that done within roughly a minute, instead of spending a minute and a half trying to get that done, and then still leaving roughly a minute and a half for the rest of the troops to take out the base, which is why it was able to 3-star without a time fail. In any case, that's all I've got for this video. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments about this, leave them below. If you've got something out of this and want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching.